This is Rob, the host of BS with Y-Eagle-Y, a veteran-run podcast where we where real talk, music, good vibes collide. We bring you comical relief with our open season episodes and interviews with bands across every genre, from rock to country to hip hop. Catch every episode on Rumble, Facebook, YouTube, and Spotify, or visit us anytime at bswithyeagley.com. I want to give a big shout out to Ed, the man behind Static Shift Radio, holding it down for rock artists and keeping the scene alive. Go show him some love and check out the website where you can find Static Shift Radio Station and upcoming events. That's staticshiftradio.com. Now, rolling with me as always is my co pilot on the mic, the one and only The Ferg. Big shout out to Disease, the producer, making sure everything sounds clean and tight. Now, once again, 42 returns. Three-piece band out of North Carolina. We have Josh, Andrew, and Lucas. So the last interview we done was in May, and your album released in June. So we have a few questions about the album, and I'm gonna turn it over to the Ferg for the first question.
Well, to start off, first of all, thanks for everybody being here today. Appreciate you guys being here and coming on the show with us. So, want to thank you for that.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate you guys.
Also, Josh, I gathered from your previous interview with Robert that you served in the military, and so I want to thank you for the service to our country. And also, I was going to say, knowing that Rob served with you, if you've got any embarrassing stories about him, I'm all ears today.
He was always good. I remember the day I met him. We talked about it last time. I mean, and yeah, just a great dude. And yeah, I don't know. I'd serve with him again in a heartbeat.
No, I was just kidding, honestly, with that one. But you guys are out of Willmington, North Carolina, and there's a diverse music scene there.
Yeah.
Rock, blues, jazz, country, reggae, hip hop. Talk to us a little bit about the diversity amongst the artists there, and how the vibe of the music community is there, and the fan interaction. Maybe talk about the support for local and live shows there.
I'm actually gonna let my brother hit this, and yeah, my brother Andrew, that's my older brother. For those that didn't know, and both Lucas and Andrew are both taller than me. So, but anyways, Andrew's been around Wilmington area for a long time, and I think Z, you can speak a little more to. Oh shoot, we got Gary Busey on as well. But Z, I think you can speak more to the Wilmington scene, right?
Yeah, I think. And Lucas, I think you could kind of chime in too, because you kind of see it from a whole different perspective from what we do. But it is very diverse, and I'd say right now it's more diverse than ever. We just had the Port City Bliss Festival that's supported by this guy Mike, who is in Rocket 77 and does a bunch of great stuff. But he brings all these different bands together, not just from our area, but regionally and nationally as well. And like you said, I went to a show last night that was a guy playing guitar by himself, a bluegrass punk rock band, kind of a ska punk rock band, and then kind of a funk punk rock band, all in one show. And yeah, there's just a lot of diversity. There's been a lot of people who've been in the scene a long time who are in multiple different bands. Huge metal scene here as well. So yeah, it is really diverse. And then Lucas, you could probably touch on, there's just so many performers that are going out. We have such a huge restaurant and bar culture here. Maybe you could touch on that as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll start from my perspective. When I first moved to Wilmington, call it about 4 years ago, I started attending some open mics, and with the idea of basically saying yes to anything in terms of musical opportunity, just because I was looking to play, and I had taken a little bit of a break with some transitions in my life and whatnot, and I could say the community was extremely open, and a lot of times, it's a type of community where if you put the work in, it delivers. I mean, I've played in, I guess you could say I made it with the cover band scene. Being sarcastic, some people say, make fun of people playing covers, but I got an opportunity to play pop punk, country, a bit more of like hip hop. And you get to see places that are more tourist centric. So you kind of see the people that come in and have fun and just there for a good time on vacation. And also there's some other venues that are more, tied to the local scene and kind of get the downtown college crowd as they're coming in. And it's a blast here. And, of course you have some folks that, people don't always get along, but at the end of the day, the music scene does stay together. Everybody's got each other's backs.
Heck yeah.
Lucas,
Heck yeah.
I did the last interview I done with Josh. You were fairly new. So how's it been with 42?
It's been amazing, actually. It's I tell these guys all the time, it's more, it morphed very quickly from just a music project to, they're my bros. It's like they call me, they need help with anything, I'm there, and vice versa. So and I think that kind of comes out in the way that we play, and we're continuing to write and all that. And it was really cool that it happened that quickly. It was almost one of those things. It's meant to be.
Heck yeah.
Speaking of brothers, Josh, you and Andrew are brothers and in the same band. Talk a little bit about the writing dynamic there. Two brothers in a band. There's been a lot of successful rock bands that were made up of brothers. And so talk about the dynamic there with you guys in the writing process. Did we lose them?
We can't hear you, Josh.
Yes.
Going through a bad spot?
There we go.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Sorry, and I'm almost home, so I'll be able to switch out here. Lucas joined us in the October time frame, probably a little before then. I don't know exactly when, but it's funny. My brother and I formed this band probably years ago. Because we've talked about doing it, but to actually action it and really do what we did, it was awesome. But I don't think 42 would have been 42 without Lucas. So although he's the new person in the band, and I wouldn't even say new because, it's over a year now, but really, all three of us as far as writing, a lot actually written with me and my brother. We, grew up listening to a lot of the same music. Obviously, he was my big brother, so, I listened to a lot of stuff he did, and then, there's stuff I've listened to that he likes, and we're getting Lucas into certain things, and we've gotten into stuff because of that. And like even yesterday, we wrote a song, and we just have a really, really transparent and open relationship as far as writing between the three of us. And even songs that I've written before Lucas joined my brother and I don't look at those songs as complete until Lucas has thrown down what he threw down. So even three of the songs that are previously recorded, we're re-recording them in 26 with Lucas on them.
Okay, heck yeah.
So, yeah, I love writing with Andrew. I love writing with Lucas. I love being on stage with them. It's just awesome. Hands down. But so, yes, me and my brother are in a band together, but it's kind of funny because, he's my big brother. I was jumping all over him during Thanksgiving and hugging him and stuff. But at bands like this and during the shows, we're all one equal unit. Lucas probably has to tell us to shut up half the time. So we operate as 42.
No, when Josh and I get onto a topic of anything, it can bounce very quickly. And Andrew's the voice of reason, keeping us tethered to say, "All right, guys, let's actually try to get something done."
he's the one to keep you guys in line, you know.
Exactly.
Well,
Definitely.
Andrew,
Old timer.
He's
you.
the true big brother of the band.
I got one for you, Andrew.
Yeah.
The big brother. So, can you? I've watched a previous show where an interview that you done, and I learned something new about you, Andrew. The time you've spent on drums, you know, and listening to the music sounds like you've been playing, you know, a lot longer than what you've played now.
Yeah,
Can
Andrew.
you give us a little rundown?
You know, I did, and I always want to put it out there. I did play in band from like 4th grade to 8th grade. Okay, maybe it was just a bass drum and a snare, but I did play. Now, I did take many, many, many years off, but I could tell you, with Josh, who's always been in music and bands and CDs, and with all the bands I love, I always was the greatest air drummer you've ever seen in the world. So I was doing a lot of practice air drumming, but when I actually got on a drum set, I wasn't as good as my air drumming. So I had to put in a lot of work, and I still, you know, I try to practice 4 or 5 times a week, and I put in a lot of time, and I watch these drummers that are out there who are so amazing, especially a lot of the young kids. But we have a lot of great drummers in Wilmington. So, you know, I just try to pick up stuff here or there. And, you know, I know I'm not an elite drummer, but I know that I give my all to my band. And I think they give me a lot of confidence in knowing that I represent 42 to the fullest. And that's all I care about. You know, I'm not trying to be Neil Peart. I'm not trying to be anybody except Andrew and represent 42. And, you know, I do my best to kind of capture our sound, and I'm getting better at it every day.
Well, I could tell you do an amazing job.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
If I could just jump in here, one thing that I was thinking about while you're answering, Andrew, is back to the writing question. What I love about the way that we write is kind of our 3 backgrounds come together in a very interesting way. I mean, a way that I love. You know, with Josh's experience with various bands and being frontman, and Andrew coming in here with like, you know, almost like this fresh perspective on how drums should be and learning to the song. And then I probably have more of like the classical training. It's not true classical training, but I know more about music theory. So it's kind of like trying to break and get away from those things. So I think it helps what makes 42 42.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. You know, I go back to you were talking about how we write songs, and I can remember Atlantic, which was basically one of the first songs me and Josh ever came up with. And it's funny, in my mind, I took 2 different songs that we kind of came up with, and I mushed them together. And I remember Josh at first was like, "Yeah, we kind of don't necessarily do that," but then he was like, "No, this works." And it was pretty neat that even though I didn't really know what I was talking about, it kind of came to fruition. And Atlantic, it sounds way better now that Lucas has made the bass lines his own live. But when we record it, it's one of my favorite songs ever.
Heck yeah. And we were probably going to get to this question a little later in the interview, but since you guys have already brought it up just a little bit yourselves, being a punk band, and that's the style of music that you've chosen to play, talk to us about some of your early musical influences, the bands and the artists that influenced your style.
Well, so I've been playing in punk rock bands for a long time, since the early '90s, and I was fortunate enough to have opened for a lot of my favorite bands in the '90s, and the punk and ska scene stuff. So, but I think for me and to where we're at now, you know, my brother was a big influence on me just because of music in general. And then, you know, but as far as bands go, you know, we're Millencolin, Inspection 12, Bad Religion, No Effects. Your standard any Fat Record band or any Epitaph band. I mean, I'm probably not going to shy away from them. Any River Monster band.
Heck
um,
yeah.
I think, but then there's other stuff outside of there. I grew up listening to the Beatles. I grew up listening to Pink Floyd. I mean, punk rock scene's so funny. The punk rock police are so quick to say, oh, you're doing this. You can't be punk rock. And I wish
Right,
people
right.
stop saying what is and what's not punk rock, because, I mean, punk rock was all about being, expressing yourself. And so that's what we do. We don't sound like every other band on the block. So, I mean, yeah, we are a punk band, and that's where we are because it's all I've ever played in. So, I mean, it's not something we chose to do. Yeah, I just think that's what we do.
What are your
I'm just a little
influences?
older. And
What was that?
What are your musical influences?
That's a loaded question, because
I know.
we were asked this at
Yeah.
an off the street interview, and I'm like, oh, wait a second, this is I'm sure let Josh answer this. I don't know. I'm a music lover. Like I listen to everything from
Yeah.
classical to, I mean, growing up, I was playing a lot of progressive metal and rock, and the bands that I was actually playing guitar, and then I fell in love with the instrument of bass and how that works in songs, and actually in one of the things it's actually I've been called out before a little bit, more in jest, but like I actually play a 5-string bass in our songs, and it's like, well, there's certain parts specifically, and being a 3-piece, that I use that lower string to fill things out, and so it's I'm just loving everything that we're doing from that perspective. Yeah.
we love you, Lucas. What about you, Z? What are your musical influences?
Mine, I think I've said this before, but mine are a lot of Florida bands like Lame,
Yeah.
Army bands like Homecoming. All of Josh's bands were my musical influences, but really going back, the Police and the Clash were two of my first big, huge influences, and then Depeche Mode. I definitely was a gothy type kid. I have an idea for this great Depeche Mode cover that we're going to do if I could talk them into doing it. But
Sold.
Awesome.
no. But like these guys, our parents, and I'm sure everybody's had this, they had a diverse background. I'm into musicals, I'm into theater, so I feel like, hopefully as we evolve as a band, we're taking all that and bringing it to what we create.
Well, we love what you guys do, and I love punk rock, and I have a diverse love for all styles of music, as Rob will tell you. I'm not just a rock and metal guy. I love blues, and I love a lot of different subgenres within the rock and roll genre. I love a lot of things. So, but it's always interesting to me to ask about a band's influences, because what's amazing is so many bands pull from so many other influences and make something that's purely their own, and then the fans are like, wow, man, I love this stuff. And so that's how we feel about you guys, band. We love what you're doing, and whatever influences influence you, keep doing it.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Thanks, Berg.
Heck yeah. I mean, and as you can see behind me, I mean, I got everybody back here: Beatles, Ozzy, Kiss, Elvis. I'm wearing the Stones today. I got it all.
Oh, yeah.
But I would like to ask you about this. I think this is pretty awesome. I think it's awesome where you guys got the name for your band. I think it's pretty awesome that you got the name for your band from A Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So talk about the origins of the band a little bit and coming together, and that's just so cool that you got your name from there.
So 42. So yeah. So it comes from there. So when I was in Iraq in 06, I named my aid station. One of them, did 3 of them in our location. I named one of them 42. I have it tattooed right here. And so, for those listening, if you haven't heard the story, so whether in the book or the movie, it's pretty cool. Life. A bunch of people ask what the history or what the story, the answer to the meaning of life is, and the great supercomputer tells them, well, you know what, come back in like, I think it was like a million years or something like that. And they come back, and everybody, there's billions of people out there, and they're like, okay, great supercomputer, what is the answer? And she says, well, the answer to your question is 42. And everybody's like in stunned silence. And she's like, well, it's not the answer you wanted, but it's the answer you're getting. And that's life, so I named it that at our aid station, because I always said, if people got to our aid station, that was the answer to the meaning of life. Why it was 42,
Okay.
I don't know. And then I started a blog online from Iraq that I was doing. This is early on. People were just doing the blog, like, there weren't really any blogs or online. I think the Army was really strict about even letting us say anything
Right.
online. So, but I signed it 42. Andrew, I think you saw all those. Um,
I did.
my little blog post or whatever. And
I got a 42 tattooed on my leg with your
what's
initials.
that? Yeah.
I said that's
Yeah,
why
yeah,
42 tattooed
yeah.
on my leg. Yeah.
Yeah, and then from there, so Andrew and I originally, so I'm gonna go a little deeper into 42 history here. So Andrew and I did play years ago. So when I played in a band called Icon back in like the early 2000s, Andrew came down, and we used to practice at this place, Dunedin Brewery, where they're a big part of my life, family wise, like with my old bands and stuff. We had a beer out by them and all kinds of other stuff. But Andrew and I played. He came down and he got on the drums, and we literally wrote a song, and we were called, what was it, One Day a Year,
Yeah.
Andrew?
Yeah.
That's the first and last time we played. That was years
Oh,
ago.
shoot.
But we do have a recording of it
It
somewhere.
was a great song. If we could ever find the recording,
Yeah,
and I had no
it
idea
was.
what I was doing.
But to make a long, and I'm sorry to drag my answer to your question out, but yeah,
No,
this
that's fine.
so 42. So Andrew and I talked about for years. Andrew was like, "Oh, when you leave the Army, you come out to North Carolina." I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure." I mean, Rob, when you're in the Army, you aren't thinking. You hear people tell you all the time, "Oh, come back and do this," but you're in the middle of
Yeah.
Germany somewhere, or Hawaii,
Mhm.
or Iraq, or whatever, and it just whatever. We said we were gonna do it, and I did get injured, and I had some other stuff going. So I was medically retired from the Army, and I said, "Guess what, Andrew? I'm coming." And literally this time last year, I sent Andrew a recording. December 4th will be. I sent Andrew a recording, and it was for the song "Hiki," that's on
Yeah.
Beeblebrox,
Mhm.
and
It's like
Yeah.
and it sounds. Yeah, actually, and I still have the recording. Actually, I'll find it and send it to you, Rob, just so you can hear that version. But and then that became it, and we were actually called the Duck Pond for about a
Duck.
year, but Andrew and I had still not played together. And then I got to Wilmington, and we went up in my dad's room. He has this like room with his drum set and all kinds of stuff. And Andrew and I jammed out, and I think that was January of when did I move here? Like 23 or no
24, 25, 24.
24. So yeah, and then oh no, so yeah, or February of 25 is when we started. Me and Andrew started playing together, and then Lucas joined us in October. And then halfway through, I said, Andrew, I don't like the name Duck Pond. And I said, we got to come up with a name. We couldn't think of one. And then I was like, holy shit, it's staring us right in the face, 42. And then I put tape up on the wall in our studio or where we practice, and that became our logo.
Dude,
Heck
that
Picture
yeah.
of it. And,
yeah
yeah, there it is.
yeah
Heck yeah.
So that is actually from.
that was awesome. The tape on the
Yeah.
wall.
So that's where our logo. We just took a picture of it. I wanted to make stickers, and I think that's when Lucas came aboard, and we were like, we needed to do some merch, and took a picture of that thing, morphed it, and there, that was 42.
I actually, one thing I want to say something about the logo. That's when I kind of realized the kind of bond that we were forming, as a group. I think at that time we were trying to figure out different logos, and Josh and I we were on the phone for like ridiculous amount of
hours.
Like our wives were like, "What are you doing?" and
Yeah.
and then we ended up going back to the original, but it was just kind of like just saying, "I'm like, oh, this is just when conversation is that easy and the creative juices flow, you know something's there."
Oh yeah, it's all. I mean, and just to tap onto that, I love, like, even when we're on the road together, like it's just awesome. Like, I'm always stuffed in the back seat because I'm the smallest, but like I love listening to the conversations with those two up front, because it'll be from everything from music to life, and I mean it's just awesome. I mean, we all really do get along really well, and it makes writing that much easier, and I think we're stoked about each other on stage, and everything we do is 33 third. So
You break it up.
Yeah.
Maybe move an inch or two one way.
Losing service or something.
Is it better? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Hey, that's much
Maybe
better.
I just talk too much.
That would be me, actually.
No, you're great. No, I even seeing them on screen. I mean, I love being with these guys. Even yesterday when we played, we wrote a new song, and I just love being with these
He's a
guys.
slave driver. He had us there for like 3 hours.
I'll tell you what, man.
Yeah.
Went by really fast. It was fun.
I've been intrigued with. I'm gonna tell you, Andrew. Being in Europe with your brother, the first time I ever seen him play, and he played on stage. It was a talent show for the Army. All right, and I probably told this story the first interview, but I'm gonna tell you, when he come out on stage, like, he gave it his all, and I'm telling you, it was like watching Blink 182 or something like that, and I was like, dang, I said, this dude could play, and he's the commander of our battalion there. So I was like, what, the captain is playing, son. And then next thing you know, it's been several years later, and now I see a band, 42. I was like, dang, he done started a band. Like, let me holler at him and see what he's doing. Like, dang, I ain't seen you in forever. So,
Yeah.
And
music has served Josh well. I could tell you, and he could tell you the second part of the story, but I could remember we were on a cruise. We did like 2 family cruises in our life with our family. And the first one, me and Josh were young, and I got in trouble. We won't talk about that cruise. The second cruise, we were both young, and they were doing a similar kind of talent show, and Josh went up and sang "Hey Jude," and he referenced this earlier. The Beatles definitely was probably Josh's first major influence in his musical career. I mean, probably you learned how to play guitar and sing from the Beatles, but Josh played it. He brought the house down on this cruise, and as he left the stage, they were still singing no, 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 and it was the crowd. And he left, and he was kind of all embarrassed, shy, but like he blew it up. And then the second story, Josh, you can maybe take this over. I think you were a private in Fort Riley. Like, maybe how you got your first big break in the Army was someone saw you playing, and didn't like that lead to getting you a job, or moving kind of up, sort of?
No, well, so a couple of funny things. Actually, I did a funny story. I won when I met Audrey, my wife, when I competed in a talent show because they were giving away a round trip ticket from Europe. And so I did Louis Armstrong's "What a Wonderful World" and won a round trip ticket from Belgium from the Army. So, because I can
Oh, wow.
get slow notes like this, so like, and so it worked. But no, funny story about my commander came when I was a private at the time, and I formed a band with my buddy Jeff Wise, who just retired from the Army, he was a sergeant major. Uh, Jeff Wise and my buddy Phil, who was my roommate in the barracks, and we were called Homecoming. And I'll never forget, we were part of an infantry battalion, so everybody showed up to the show. It was awesome. We were terrible, but the bar loved us. We
You
brought
guys
in
are
alcohol.
awesome. I
Oh,
love
I
it.
mean, it was fun. It was absolute mayhem. I mean, and Rob, I mean, it's a whole infantry battalion showing up to a dang show with alcohol. I mean, just it was pure chaos. But I remember I was the commander's driver, and I remember he came to see us on Saturday, and he was like, "Oh my God, you guys were awesome." And then on Monday, I was sweeping the motor pool, and he comes up because I was my commander's driver, and he's like, "Man, Josh," he goes, "that show was awesome Saturday." And he's like, you guys were freaking rock stars." I was like, "Yeah, pretty cool." He goes, "Now look at you, you're sweeping the motor pool." I'm like, "Oh, that's dirty, man." but but yeah, that was kind of cool. I mean, it was you know, it helped, and then yeah, I mean, it was good being in bands. I played in bands and everywhere I was stationed, from Belgium to Riley to you name it. So
Uh,
I love it.
Andrew, I want to let you know that your brother going from green to gold, when he was an officer, enlisted gave him the most respect. I'm gonna tell you right now. And the reason I say that is because he was in our shoes,
Yeah.
and when he became an officer, he knew how it was, and he was one of the best officers I ever met. So, and
Oh, thanks.
not saying that being that he's on there, I'm gonna give Josh a big head. No, but he was the coolest guy I ever met. Being an officer coming from an enlisted side, and he took care of his soldiers. So, you know, big shout out to you, Josh.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Well, when you have awesome soldiers like you, man, it was. I'd go to
We
battle
had
with you anytime, man.
we had our moments, but
We did, yeah, yeah. There were some funny ones.
we
Hey, do
can't.
you still talk to Carlisle?
You know what? Sometimes he pops in on these shows.
That's what I saw that. Tell him
Yeah,
I said what's up, man.
yeah, he
Good.
pops in on the shows. Barker.
Yeah,
He
yeah, yeah,
watches
yeah.
sometimes. He's up at
Well,
was it Kentucky? Uh, oh, the base up there. He works as a
Campbell?
yep
No,
Fort
Knox.
Campbell. Yeah, Fort Campbell.
Yeah.
He's working at Fort Campbell.
Dang.
But yeah, man, it's we had an awesome time, and you know, I'll tell you, that's the one thing being enlisted we always loved about an officer if they came from green to gold, and uh, I could tell you, not to get off track, but the first time I ever met Josh, he thought I was in trouble. All right, so uh, I always I
Were you?
volunteer. No, no. See,
I
I,
remember exactly where I met you too. I remember.
I was part of a decon team, and I
Yeah.
volunteered to get gear together. And what that does is it's mask and stuff. If we had a nuclear issue, or you'd have all these charcoal suits, and you'd have to get everything together and make sure they're okay to wear. Uh, Josh shows up, and this is the first day or first time on the facility, and he's needing new equipment. So I'm in there, and he's like, "You come for a mask, I think,"
Yeah,
and
yeah, I did. Yeah, I had to get my mask. Yeah.
and he's like, "You in trouble?" And I was like, "Nah, I volunteered for this." He's like, "Oh, okay," but um, but long story short, he's like, "Well, I'm going to be the new company commander. How you doing?" I was like, "Oh shit." So I didn't, at the time I didn't really know him, so I was like, "Damn, thought I was
Wait,
in trouble."
Interestingly enough about that. So when we played in Florida, who showed up to our show out of nowhere was Sergeant Boulevard.
Whoa, heck.
Yeah, like he came up behind me and he's like, "Hey," and I'm like, I turn around and there he is. I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" I'm like, "Holy crap!" But I think he was in there that day.
Yeah, he
That
was.
when I met you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
because
was.
and then he was our NBC guy. So
Yep.
that's so crazy. And you guys met him, Andrew and Lucas.
Yeah, he
My
drove up
buddy.
3 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, he is with his cane. Still looks the
Yep.
same, Rob.
Yep.
It's like
I got to learn a lot about Josh that day.
He hadn't grown. He had.
So great.
I could tell you, he probably hasn't grown much hair back.
no, no. He's doing good though. It was good to see him.
Oh,
See,
man.
Rob, the thing about Josh, though, as you can see by his picture, his video on the screen, he looks like he's 15 still. So I can see you not knowing he was your commander when he was in there. He probably looked like a young guy back then because he still looks young now. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
I have the worst story. I will never tell it on a live
Yeah,
podcast.
please don't.
We can do it after the show.
It's really it's like a burn on me, but maybe
Oh.
after we get off, I'll tell the story. It's so humiliating to me.
Well, that's kind of messed up, Andrew. Leaving not not telling the crowd.
I'm gonna do
No,
it.
no, don't do it.
No,
That's
I'm gonna
premium
do it.
content. You got to
So,
behind a paywall.
We're doing this battle of the bands, right? And it was early on in our career. We got picked by the radio station. 5 awesome bands, we were one of them, and I was really proud. So we end up going on last because we changed our number to help one of the bands out. They had one of their members had to go somewhere, so we finish up, and there was this kind of radio guy, or he was from like a record company, right? The one
Yeah.
guy who was one of the judges.
Yeah.
So after the guy comes up to me and he goes, "Man, what did he say?" He said, "Man, your singer has a lot of energy, man. He's really great." And he's like, "Is that your son?" I said, "What?" I said, "Did you just ask me if my brother was my son?" And he was like, "Oh, he's not your son?" I was like, "That's my brother." And I was like, and Josh didn't like the guy anyway because he wasn't really paying attention to us. So I was so angry, and it hurt. Like I'm sitting here, Josh looks 15. Earlier, like the year before, one of my son's soccer player friends called me a grandpa. So I mean, it's just been going downhill every year for me. Okay, here's my humiliating story. There you go.
Man.
If you can lend me $100 since you're playing that role, we could. I got some bills I need to pay. Sure, Lucas needs a new bass or something. We can,
At least, I mean, as you can see, I'm really
Yeah,
low on
he's
supplies.
we
hurt
can take
bad.
some allowance, Lucas. Right?
Right.
Sorry, son. I just
Oh,
bought a new
man.
car. Okay.
He's got.
Well, we really do want to
on a
jump
boat.
into we really do want to jump into some of the songs with you, but I kind of had a guitar question for you. Some of the bands like Green Day and the Ramones, guys have been they often play something like a Fender Telecaster or a Stratocaster, and I think the guitar player from Rancid prefers a Gretsch. What's your weapon of choice there, Josh? What?
So I use for me, so Lucas and I I'll let Lucas tell his, and Andrew actually we're getting a new set actually, but for me, I've been using a Gibson SG for the last as my main guitar since 2001. I started out playing like Strats and stuff. My first guitar is at the brewery hanging above the bar. But my SG is my main guitar, and then I use an orange cab, and I have a Gretsch backup.
Heck yeah.
So, Lucas, what you
Yeah.
got?
Well, as I was thinking too, one of the funny things with, another meant to be moment was when I first went to the practice space. You know, we're kind of talking about like, oh, what's our sound going to be, and kind of potential equipment to get. And Josh goes, you know, I've always wanted like a Mesa Boogie or an Orange amp, and I'm like, hey, I have a Mesa
Matter of
Boogie
fact.
and I have an Orange amp, and we actually recorded both those amps on Beeble Brock's, you know, like create this like wall of sound with both of those guitars that Josh just described. So I think it's kind of cool how it worked out. So I want to throw that in there. But
What about you, Lucas? What are you running?
Well, so I'm playing my main thing. This Sterling that I actually got by Music Man. You know, the Ernie Ball, you know, cheap versions like the Epiphone to Gibsons. I think it was like on Sweetwater. It was like their display model, so it was discounted. And I plugged that in. It's got this natural growl. I'm like, yep, this is what I'm playing for this band. And you know, I just love playing it, and that's what I love recording with it. And I play through that through a TC Electronics bass amp, and then put a lot of distortion, some dark glass distortion on that, and
Heck yeah.
that's basically it. It just kind of just driving that bass line, you know, as much as I can.
And then Z plays an old Ludwig.
Okay.
I pretty much
But,
play Josh's drum set. I do Sabian cymbals. When I break them, I just buy new ones used.
And he breaks a lot.
Woody sticks.
He's a punk drummer. He's
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the
Heck
way,
yeah.
since this is going out live, if Ernie Ball wants to sponsor me, that's fine too. I'm willing to.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Same here. But yeah, so we have a pretty simple setup. And yeah, and we kind of roll with it. I mean, 3-piece. So, no, I don't play the normal traditional, you know, Strat. I
Josh
do love
plays
the
a 5-string
Strat.
as well.
Yeah, I actually play 5. Actually, that is unique to my guitar playing. I do not use 6 strings on my guitar. Never have.
Okay.
Never will. I use 5 of them. I actually, I just got my guitar serviced. They're like, we put the 6 strings on. I'm like, plop, and picked it off.
Took that off.
Yeah. So it's unique for me. I mean, it's just how I learned to play. Actually, my old the bass player from Lot Lizards, Alex, when I used to play in a band called,
Yeah.
yeah. So me and the bass player from there, we played in a band called Lame back in the day for years, and he called. I pretty much learned guitar. Really, there is where I started playing guitar live and in bands, and he used to call it the Zeldin 4000 because I only had 4 strings on it. And so, yeah, and that guitar hangs at the brewery now, so it was good.
Heck yeah. Well, you mentioned the song Hickey a while ago. That's one of my favorites. And I love how it comes off with some heavy riffs. And the cadence and the melody of that one reminded me a little bit of 1985 by Bowling for Soup. But it's a very fun sounding song, but the subject matter is not very fun because it's about a girl leaving him, and that's never fun. But somehow you took
it might be fun in the long run. It might be better.
Like, well, it could be. But I guess I was going to ask you, because when you listen to the song, it's such a fun, upbeat song, great song. I was going to ask you, talk about the writing process behind that one to take what could be a sore subject and turn it into such a fun song.
Well, so that one basically, I was thinking about one of my best friends. I'm just not gonna, I'll leave it at that. And I was thinking about it has a couple meanings, but I'm only gonna go into this one. But and basically it's about somebody listening to somebody drone on all the time. And you know, it's about kind of being in love, I guess, but after a while it's just like, is it worth it? It's like, you know, it's just getting, and this could go for a guy or a girl. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's just, you know, hearing somebody drone on over and over. It's just like, you want to escape to a different place. So it is a love song in a way. I am kind of a depressing person, so I kind of do write a little more in that realm, but I can't help it. But Uh, yeah, and it's just about yeah, just taking it all in and yeah. I mean, it's just hearing somebody drone on over and over and over again, and you just kind of want to escape. So
Well,
I'll
the
leave it at
song
that.
doesn't sound like that at all. The song's very upbeat. The song's very fun. It's got these great riffs and the great melody. So you would never know that there was a darker tone behind the writing of that.
I
You
mean,
just
it's
wouldn't know
definitely
it.
it's darker, but at the same time, I mean, like it's still having fun with what's going on. It's like you can't let somebody else drag you down. So even though it's a little dark, it's like you still got to find your own happiness in there. So if somebody's just gonna just kind of browbeat you down, it's just like, well, it's things aren't so bad. I mean, I am fine.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Like, and I'll be fine. You know what I mean? And you'll be fine. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where that kind of comes down.
When we
Heck
play it
yeah.
live, it goes off. People really dig it.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, there was one thing with that song when I first came in to kind of put the bass line in, and I kind of and I have an appreciation. I probably with a lot of stuff that I've written on my own. I like that element of that mixed dark versus happy sound because it's kind of like the truthfulness of life, this authenticity of life, and like with all three of us have families and all that. Sometimes like you're struggling on the inside and then going in. At least that's how I interpret it. The first time
Yep.
I'm playing, so. And Andrews came in with like that. He's playing that beat, and I'm like, well, the bass line. I'm thinking, I kind of want it to bounce around and move around the chords and all that stuff. So it all back to our like writing style. It's our different interpretations pivot on one another.
I
Heck
would
yeah.
do. I would actually play it for you acoustically, but I think my voice is kind of gone because I was sick all night last night, so I don't know if I could pull it off.
Hey, but the perfect place to bring up this next song since you mentioned acoustically. I love what you did with the song Now and Then.
Okay,
You
so wait,
say this
before
one's
no, so
yeah,
hold on. So actually, so I'm gonna stop
yeah,
you there because so that
yeah.
acoustic playing is not me. That's my friend Zach who took his life. So
Oh wow.
the song Now and Then was actually written by me and him years ago, and there is a
Okay.
version of that from my old band. It was just an acoustic song. Our friend had died while we were in the studio. He got in a car accident. His name is Andre. And so me and Zach went outside and we wrote this song like real quick, wrote the lyrics, and actually his girlfriend sent me the lyrics, and it's actually from that night where we wrote. It's pretty cool. Um, but that acoustic version is actually him singing the song on a phone. We grabbed it from a phone video, and that's why we put it in. So when we actually played in Florida, we put him the video of that recording playing on a phone video, and then we put that song on the CD at the end of Now and Then. And the only reason we really wrote Now and Then it was to actually put it into a band song because it was just this acoustic side thing for our friend. And now with my best friend ending his life, I felt the song had more meaning. And we when we play that song now, we talk prior to we talk about veteran suicide. We talk about suicide in general, and about looking out for those around us and those close to us, and those especially within our scene, because we always have somebody to reach out to, and that means a lot to me because Robert, I don't know if you've heard them, but the when they do the and it gives me the chills just thinking about it, but that final roll call, when they do a final roll call in the military for somebody who's passed away, it's probably one of the most eerie feelings in the world. But
Give you goosebumps.
yeah, it does. They bring you into the room, and everybody's in the sanctuary or wherever they're at, and they'll go through the soldiers' names, and they'll say, Robert Yeagley, and he'll say present, and they'll say Josh Zeldin present, and then they'll say the last person's name, and they don't say anything. They'll say, Private Smith, Private Josh Smith, private, and then they say this and it's completely dead silent. And
It just gave me chills on my legs, man.
yeah, it gives me chills just thinking about it. But that's what that song means to me, and that's what that message means to me. So, and because I heard you mentioned the shout out about Zach before, and we appreciate that, but that literally is on there. It was just one more recording. Zach could be on stage with us. So,
And just to tap onto that, actually, from my perspective, and I go back with that song too with Icon, but for us, we also utilize it when our cousin passed away and ultimately killed himself too. And as we were doing 42, I always was trying to get Josh to buy into some of the old songs that I love. Like, hey, we could make this, and Josh always veered away from that. Like, we're going to create our own sound and our own thing. But with that song, we were able to share it. Like, me and Josh were like recording in the studio. Lucas knows. I think you heard the original version, which wasn't as good, but like we were able to play and show Zach. So Zach actually got to hear us do it, and it was so proud of us, kind of recreating that song.
yeah.
So it kind of came full circle. So. And I know Lucas has thought this too when Josh said, we kind of give shout outs to veterans, but just like people in general, and it doesn't even have to be depression, just losing life, losing family, for anything, a car accident, whatever. I mean, they're powerful lyrics that Zach and Josh created. So it means a lot to me. I always hope that we play at every show, and I always point to Zach every time I do a little cymbal breakdown at the end, letting them know, him and Jeremy, that we're thinking of them.
actually, hey, I'm gonna play that song for you guys acoustic right now. Because for Zach, and it's really, here's the original version. It's literally like. Can you hear it? Okay.
We hear you.
Yeah.
Well, it's so long. You're a bitter and it's all wrong. No one's always happening, but it's over. Let it go, my good friend, and just follow. Lights keep breaking in, and now you're always on our minds. Memories keep us close to our good times, and now you're always in our hearts. Now you know the things we don't. There you go. There it is.
Wow. That's great. And I appreciate you guys giving the message that you did about the song and that you do that at your shows and everything. I never try to make anything about myself. I try to make it about the band, but I can definitely empathize with each and every one of you. I lost a brother in 2019
Sorry.
to the same thing. I actually walked in and saw a very horrific scene that I'm not going to describe on camera, but something you should never have to go through. And he was also a veteran. He did 5 years in the Corps, and then my younger brother, who did 24 in the Navy, talked Jerry into going to the Navy. So he left the Corps and become a squid for 8 years, which was a hard transition for him. But we need more of that. We need more messages out there, and to have a band that's putting such a positive message out there for people that are struggling like that, we can't say thank you enough.
Appreciate it. Yep. Yeah. He means it. I mean, Zach means the world to me. I think about him. There's not a day that doesn't go by that I don't think about him. But and so we'll always have that song in there, and yeah. And the message is simple. I mean, it's like, if you're feeling down, talk to somebody. You're only in this marble once, so,
Yeah.
and not for a long time. So nothing's that bad,
Yep.
Absolutely.
And if any veterans out there watching this,
Absolutely.
we do a program on the side. You can reach out to me and I'm a part of Kindred Vets, which we help our brothers and sisters and their families. So if you're in a bad place, you can reach out to me, and like you ain't even got to say what it is in the comments. Uh, just say, Rob, I need to talk to you, and we'll get you to where you need to be. So, um, yeah, Ferg knows what I do on the side. I'm part of a club that
Absolutely.
we escort fallen soldiers. We also here recently, I don't, there was a retired command sergeant major that needed help that he couldn't get help from the VA, a motorized scooter, to be able to get around. The club got together and got him one, and so
Awesome.
we try to help the veterans because it's tough out there. Being a veteran, we know, Josh can account for that.
It's rough,
Also,
man. Transition's not easy. I mean, and I mean, it really isn't. To have been in a institution for 20 something years to come over to the other side, it's definitely a challenge. I don't care who you are. You know,
Absolutely.
it's wild.
Absolutely.
But we have people there to support us, and that's you great folks. I mean, and we're there to support people, like Robert said. I mean, if anybody is needs to talk, I mean, anybody from my band, I know you can reach directly out to us. Lucas says it every show, and he, Andrew says it, and they ain't full of it. I mean, we'll stop anything we got to do to help somebody in need, and I would hope everybody would do that.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, if we're involved in a show together, whether you're an audience member or all that, we've got a connection. So
Yeah, I agree.
Man, we all you guys for that. And I definitely thank Rob for that. And I've told him that many times. Means a lot to me. While I haven't served, several of my family members, friends have. We all know somebody, and that means the world. And so, thank you to all you guys, and thank you for that message. Thank you for the message in the song. Speaking of songs, let's have a little fun. Let's get on a high note here for just a minute
Yeah.
because there's one song that I want to talk about. I told Rob I wanted to talk about this one because I love the lyrics. I'm a lyric guy. I'm definitely a music guy, but I love the lyrics too. And I love this one. I want to talk about Snoots.
Snoots.
I love some of the lyrics in that. If we fell asleep in tears, would we still be lying here? Would you go away? I would never tell a lie. It would ruin my alibi. And then he says, if we met in different times, would we lead a life of crime? Would we find something more? A random moon in outer space, I would take you to this place where I could find you alone. I love all that. That just, I don't know, the writing behind that, and it's so fun. It's just like, it's kind of like the ballad of the album. If there was going to be one, talk about it.
So Snoots was written. So that's one of the earlier songs we wrote, and it's actually going to be re-recorded because Lucas has added a lot to it, and we've changed some of the stuff on it. But it's about my wife, and I've just always called her Snoots. There's a whole story behind that. I don't have it in front of me, but if you look if you go to any of our music sites where the Snoots song is, the picture, that's my wife. And so me and Andrew were at the studio one night, and I think Andrew's drum head broke. It was either that or the kick drum
wow.
pedal.
It was my snare. I was replacing the snare head.
Yeah. Oh yes, yeah. I knew it was something, and so I started writing in the back, and Andrew's like, "Oh, that's pretty cool," and Andrew fixed this thing, and we kind of just, I think we were done for the day, and then there it is, yeah, there's Snoots, and I think we were done for the day, and I don't know. We went back and we just wrote it, and yeah, I wrote the lyrics. I'm always weird about writing love song lyrics because I don't want them to come off cheesy. But well, I love that girl, and yeah, I mean, I'd lead a life of crime with her. So
Actually, though,
Yeah.
in that song, that's one of the few songs where Josh won't come off his lyrics too easy. But on that song, Josh wrote the lyrics, but in the bridge, I wrote those lyrics.
yeah, oh
And,
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
and it's separate from Josh. It is a love story, but it wasn't about Josh's wife, of course. But like I work with a
Yeah.
lot of people with Alzheimer's and other related dementias. So like I was looking at it with this love story that Josh was creating, and early on it was like they keep finding each other over and over throughout infinity and time. Him and Snoots, him and Audrey.
Heck yeah.
But I was looking at it from like a couple where one of them, they were losing their memories, but they were still going to be able to connect, again in this different time. And it was pretty cool for me to like actually participate because Josh is great, and Lucas can say this. Musically, we're putting stuff down together, we're playing off each other, but lyrically, like Josh, he has an idea of what he wants to say. But I felt like a legend that I got to write a couple of lyrics with Josh, and it meant like for me, like that meant more than like creating the song. Just like to be part writer with Josh on that song meant a lot, and I was able to get him to buy into it, which meant that he liked it. He was proud of it, so
Heck
it was
yeah.
really cool. Only two
Yeah,
lines.
those-
I love those.
Well, those lyrics are really cool though. That's in the bridge. And actually I'm gonna point those out. It's if I start to lose my mind, would you hold me in your arms just one last time? Things could never be the same. The memories always fade, but not our love. And I think that's so cool because it totally matched with what I was saying, and I just thought that was pretty awesome. So
We rock.
we rock.
Rob, do you,
rock.
do you think it'd be okay? Rob, do you think we could play that one for our listeners? Would that be okay?
Josh, you mind? if we
So
play it?
actually, you know what? I'm gonna do you even one better. But yeah, you can play that. But I am going to send you right now, Rob, a song that has never been played because we did this with Beeblebrox with you, and
Oh yes,
it is going to be a
Oh.
song that nobody's heard. And
It's
so let me
awesome.
send it. Let me send it to you now.
Josh, have we heard it? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I just maybe.
Is this 3 minutes?
Yeah, 3
See,
minutes.
ask and you shall receive. See?
Yeah, so here we're gonna let me see, how do I find this here? So Michael. All right, so
This, from a music perspective, is great because all three of us kind of brought our own things to it separately and mushed them together. And then lyrically, really, it comes from a conversation, and Josh just took it to the next level, which was awesome.
Hell yeah.
well,
Heck yeah.
I'm sending it to you now. But so Snoots, though, if you, I mean, you're more than welcome to. Hold on, let me see. Why do I send this to you?
You're
Yeah,
emailing
actually,
it to
while
me,
you're looking
Josh?
for that, Josh, Andrew, like you bring up a good point because I think this is probably one of the first songs that we wrote completely from scratch altogether. All the other songs off Beeblebrox, there was some kind of origin and maybe
Yeah.
adding some tweaks to it. So it's yeah.
I'm trying to.
Another one, Stick It, that Lucas, that was his song. His first, he was like,
Okay.
"Do my song, guys." But
Oh, sorry, I'm trying to send it.
Well, so many
No, you're
artists talk so many times about the situations that you didn't expect to happen is where some of the best songwriting comes out of. Things that were unplanned or like, you broke that drum head, things happen and then it's amazing how it works that way with bands and with songwriters. I love it.
Yeah.
You know what's cool about that drumhead story? I actually sometimes, we'll film ourselves with our phones in the studios. And I didn't realize at the time, but it was filming us. You see me changing the snare head as Josh is creating Snoots. And Josh will just make up lyrics. But I remember going back to my wife being like, check this out. This is a cool song. And she was like, man, that's awesome. He came. I was like, yeah, he just made that up while I was changing my snare drum. It was the
Well, I just sent it to you.
All right.
Yeah. So that's one of the two songs we will be releasing that one here probably within the next
This is
month.
kind of a world premiere.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Well, this is the first place I showed Beeblebrox. So we might as well do it again.
Hell yeah. You
but-
emailed it to me, Josh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me know if you
It's the one I sent you the code on, huh?
Yep.
Got a twofer here. Heck yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's sent.
Got it.
So this is definitely these. Oh my gosh, sorry.
You'll like these lyrics, Ferg.
Yeah, I like these lyrics a lot. Actually, these are some of my favorites.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. That's for sure.
Oh. All right.
Definitely.
But yeah, Snoots is a lot of fun. I love that song. And actually, we've had our boy, we've had our boy Bill play guitar with us on stage from 5 Foot Nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's actually been playing guitar on Snoots with us live just for fun.
Well, I saw where you played with those guys.
Yeah, they're probably our brother bands. I mean, like they like they're the closest. I mean, me and Bill hang out all the time. Yeah, I mean they're awesome. I think Andrew went and saw one of their members playing a show last night, right, Andrew?
Yep.
Eric,
Pretty Little Disasters or
Heavy Disasters.
Punk band. Awesome.
They're awesome, yeah. So I mean, but yeah, I don't know, great scene here.
Okay, it's queued up.
So I want to appreciate it, Josh, Andrew, and Lucas, for letting this channel be the first to play your song. You know, just like Beeblebrox, and you know, here it is.
Got the feeling to just stay home and watch the world today. It's me on my brain just slowly breaking down. When the skyline is bleeding, when the barricades fall, it's a headline we're reading. When tomorrow's burning, there's no one left in the cold. Yeah, I feel like it's coming right back around again. I can see that my world is slowly breaking down. When the skyline is bleeding, when the barricades fall, it's in the headlines we're reading. When tomorrow's burning, there's no one left now. And I don't want to feel let down. Everywhere I look, it's the same old thing. They just walk away.
All right, so it sounded a little weird coming through the computer, but yeah, I mean,
It was still awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
when yeah, we're really happy with these two songs, and yeah, so that one's called 3 Minutes Out.
Andrew, that's the one he came up with.
What's
That's the
that?
one he just. Is that the one you were talking about? He came out.
That we were talking about Stoots there, but that one,
Oh,
it's interesting. We all kind of were playing musically. We kind of Josh had a guitar. I kind of came up with drums, and then Lucas on the kind of bridge, the bass line that he came up with the one day was just it was incredible. But the lyrics really, you know, I know Josh. We were talking about some stuff. Me, Josh, and Lucas are always philosophizing and stuff, and
We solve the world's problems on a daily.
yeah. We were talking about life and just kind of people, and we're kind of into this customer service thing and treating people nice, and like nowadays some people are just mean and they're everybody's down on their phones and they don't give a damn about what anybody else is doing. And it's funny, we had this full conversation, and I think subconsciously, like Josh took those conversations, and maybe not subconsciously, but somewhat, and put them into his lyrics. And it was kind of crazy when he came back with the lyrics. I was like, man, we were like just talking about it. So he was like, I know, it just kind of, put in there, and it was pretty awesome. And the whole song collectively, like Lucas said, it was like really like, it kind of seemed like really easy. Like we just kind of was the first time we all had our say. And, me and Josh are brothers. Lucas has, dealt with this. Like we're intense, I'm a big brother to Josh, but like in terms of band world, he's my big brother, So, I mean, we're working all that stuff out. And so it's pretty cool that we could kind of come together and be on the same page. Even yesterday when we were working on a new song, like we're working it out, and it's fairly easy to do. It's just kind of, we talk it out. We try some things. It doesn't work. We try something else. And yeah, I was really proud of that song. I mean, not that I'm not proud of the other song, Stick It. But that song, I really felt like it was us three kind of evolving together and doing something different.
Heck yeah.
yeah. I liked it. Yeah.
And
Well, I
and don't
liked
let
all your
yeah.
songs. So
Oh, yeah.
Andrew and I mean, I feel bad for Lucas sometimes. He has to be the
I have a younger brother, so I get it. Like,
yeah.
The sounding
He has
board
to hear
guy.
us.
step brother.
Well, it's good. I mean, me and Andrew. I mean, we'll do our thing, and but I mean, at the end of the day, Andrew has always been like my biggest hero, my big brother. I mean, I have actually, interestingly enough, his name tattooed on my leg as well, which I had my buddy Jordan, who owns Mom's Tattoos in Florida, tattooed it with a guitar string years and years and years ago, and said he's going to own a shop one day, and now he does. But yeah, I mean, me and my brother are going to argue, and Lucas has seen some blowouts, but for the most part, I mean, we're brothers. I mean, we argue, and then it's like whatever.
You better not go touch my drum set.
Yeah,
Right.
trust me. I
It's
put my
actually,
nuts on his set all the time.
it's actually his drum set. Yeah, I realize. I can't do anything about it.
No, that's Andrew. But yeah, I mean, I've said it earlier in the show. I mean, I couldn't be happier. I mean, just the friendship. I think we're all really lucky. We've talked about adding another person to our band as a second guitar player, but it's finding that person, and the closest person would be is our buddy Bill. But it's just I don't know. There's just something with the three of us. We enjoy. It just works.
Heck yeah. If it ain't broke, why fix it?
Yeah, exactly.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I love what you said, because a lot of people, we talked about musical influences earlier, and you're talking about your big brother being your big hero. Stevie Ray Vaughan said for years that his brother Jimmy, that was his biggest influence.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, And that's weird to hear sometimes. I mean, Andrew tells me, I mean, I've been hearing it, for I mean, it's weird, to hear your big brother, but I mean, I get it. I mean, but like still, even when we play, I mean, I think it's with both of them. I mean, the first people I look to after we play a show, I look to Lucas and Andrew and I'm like, hey, is everything good? Like,
Heck
they're
yeah.
my bros, I want to make sure we do right by each other too. So, you know, good
Speaking
times.
of playing shows, you're going to play a benefit show on December 7th for the warming shelter. Talk to us about that benefit and talk to us about that show. It's going to be you and 7 other bands.
Yeah, so my buddy Bill, who plays in 5 Foot Nothing, and Mike Grindstaff, with Port City Blitz, he's in Rocket 77. I think he's helping Bill set that whole thing up. We're gonna, I believe raise money for the warming shelter as well as give stuff in need for people in need here in the area in Wilmington. Great bands playing. You got 5 Foot Nothing, Rocket 77. Do we have the list?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Explainers, Bat Asterix, MK, Lewis, Photo Club, the Petty Disasters, which that's Eric's bluegrass
Side
punk
band.
band, and
Yep.
then the Good Grief, who they're like a
Makes
legendary kind of punk metal band here in town. They're playing and they're awesome.
Heck
Yeah,
yeah.
it's gonna be a heck of a show. And then for as far as shows go, so that one's gonna be, you can't beat playing a charity show to raise money to help people. So, and I applaud my buddy Bill for setting that whole thing up. So, that's gonna be awesome. And then we play our final show of 26 or 25. I'm sorry, uh, uh, on the 20th in Raleigh, which will be the 1 year anniversary of our first show ever. And it's kind of
Machine
cool.
Gun Earl.
What's that with Machine Gun Earl and who else is playing on that one?
I'm not
I
sure.
think that might. Yeah, I know Machine Gun Earl and us, and I know 5 Foot was gonna play, but I don't think they can. So,
Finger Girls, another River Monster band. I don't know if you're looking for more guests, they'd be fun ones to have.
oh yeah, Machine Gun Earl would be great to have. Yeah, they're
They
awesome.
got quite a catalog. They're awesome live. We played with them at a skate park and it was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should get
Yeah.
5 Foot Nothing on here too.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Actually, yeah, because actually, Bill, an interesting story. Sorry to keep bringing Bill up, but Bill's actually an ex-Army and Navy veteran. He
Nice.
retired. He went kind of green to gold, but he went, from the Army over to the Navy, and awesome dude, awesome guy. So
Heck, after the show, I had to get the contact information from you guys.
for sure.
So,
Rob, you were going to ask them about one of the shows, weren't you?
well, I'd like to know what is the plan for 2026 for 42? Do you have the plans laid out?
Well, we have a semi roadmap. I wouldn't say plan. We plan to do some regional touring. Well, probably I'd say East Coast touring. This year, and then we'll be doing a lot of that. We have a full length record coming out on River Monster, probably early summer. It'll be our first full length release. It'll come out on vinyl from River Monster, and then we will, obviously it'll be streaming. And we have a 7-inch record we'll be splitting, so a split record vinyl with 5 Foot Nothing, and that'll be a limited press of like probably no more than 250.
Oh,
So,
wow. We better jump on
I'll have
those.
to get my hands on it.
yeah. Yes.
But we also want to we want to get into the video game, and we feel like we're going to
Yes.
make a couple of videos to some of our songs just to get it out there to kind of promote us more. And we think that's going to be good.
Yeah, actually, the one we played for you guys there, that'll be coming out. There'll be a little small video coming out for that soon.
Awesome.
Well, yeah.
Now, what the Ferg was talking about before I moved to the future.
That's right.
Recently the band played the event Port City Blitz, which Andrew, I think you spoke about that
Yeah.
a little bit. Um, so what was preparing for that entailed? Because I've seen some of the videos that Josh posts with loading all this equipment up in this vehicle, and
Oh, that was
he,
me and Lucas. We did that then. Yeah.
so how was preparing for the Blitz?
Lucas.
Was that?
That's just an interesting question. I mean, this is actually a shout out to Mike G on how well he runs that event. I mean, honestly, in terms of us, really, I had to bring my bass head, our amp heads, and our instruments. And I think Andrew, all you have to do is bring your breakables and snare, and it's like a machine. Like you go up there, you know where you're playing, when you're playing, and I think there was even a delay, but like everybody got the memo. It was all communicated, and then if you're not playing, you get to see all the other cool bands. So I mean, honestly, at least from my perspective, it was a nerve-wracking show because it's like, oh, cool, we're getting in the scene, right? You get to play with a lot of cool bands, but at the same time, it was really easy to do so and really just play our music and be 42.
Heck yeah.
The crazy thing was that we had to leave. We couldn't even attend the second day because we played in Columbia the next night, and we were playing Winston-Salem the next night. So each night we had a really different, unique experience and played for different crowds, and that was awesome. But back to the Port City Blitz, probably the coolest thing for me personally is Super Chunk was the headliner that night. And
Yeah, Super Chuck.
yeah, just to get to be on kind of the same bill and talking to the lead singer after, I kind of promoted us, and he gave us shouts out that he saw us play the guy Mac, and was really, he's just a nice guy and took the time to, talk to us and be there. He was selling merch to the crowd, and they've been around. Me and my wife saw them in 1996.
Yeah, 90s. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was great. But then going from there, Rob, Lucas and Josh, they're the loaders. They're the Lego guys who they make it happen. And it's tough because when you get done playing and you got to load something up, I don't have the patience for it, but Lucas, they make it happen every time.
Actually, so I'm gonna jump on that. Like, so the way Andrew described, like talking to the Super Chunk and all that, we call Andrew. He's our 42 diplomat. He's like, he loves talking to other people. Where Josh and I were, Josh, hope it's okay that I'm saying this. Like, we're the introverts. Like, don't get me wrong, I love spending time with everybody, but I need to recharge.
Andrew's public relations.
Exactly. So it's like I'm more than happy to be loading because it's just me and myself.
And man, y'all had a pretty good show because it was 7th, 8th, and the 9th y'all played.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Yeah. And a lot of great bands and connections there. Like, actually, so we were talking about Willmington community, but everywhere we've played, South Carolina, like Winston-Salem area, like we've gone out of there with great connections, and it's bands I would love to hook up and with, and if they're ever in Wilmington, we'll try to find the show, and they'll return the favor to us. So it's it's cool building and seeing that.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads into something that I ask every band that Robert and I have on the show. I always ask a 3-part question: favorite venue, your dream venue, and who would you most love to open up for?
So my favorite venue for me, I have 2 that I've played. CBGB's I played twice. That was my favorite. And then my second favorite would be a place in Tampa called Janus Landing. And I hope we play there. I played there before. I loved it. Where I'd want to play, Red Rocks. I want to play Red Rocks so bad. And then, it was that. Did I answer all 3?
Who would you most love to open up for if you could?
I mean, I've opened for a lot of my favorite bands. I I mean, if we're talking anybody, anytime, anywhere. I mean, if we could right now, it would be Millencolin. I'd love to open for Millencolin.
Okay.
That would be my. I would be extremely excited to play with Millencolin. Any Andrew, Lucas, you guys?
Go ahead, Lucas.
I'm trying to think. I mean, favorite venue that I've gotten to play at was. So I'm from New Jersey originally. A place called Starland Ballroom in Sayreville.
Oh,
It's like it's such a cool place, and actually any place in Asbury Park, like the convention hall and or Stone Pony, kind of the summer fest. Dream venue, probably Red Rocks is a good one. I actually a little upset I didn't think about that one, but PNC Bank Arts Center, that's always a fun place to go see a show, especially if you've ever been there. You walk up the hill and you can hear like the opening band and all that. But band to open up to, I mean, how cool would it be to like open up like the Misfits, right? But,
oh man,
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
yeah, but I like, it's like Millencolin or Inspection 12, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, and I don't have many venues that I've played in my lifetime, but locally I would have to shout out Reggie's because that was my first ever show. And it's like our big kind of, place here in town. Dream venue, like Josh has played it, but like Janice Landing, like I saw the Beastie Boys there when I was young, and I would like to go there. Then, definitely the band I would want to open up for it, and I have reached out to them and said, "Hey, we will glad to open up for you." Is Inspection 12, but
Okay.
I would definitely be Millencolin too. I mean, me and my brother, we've been listening to them for many years.
Many years. Yeah.
He threw a lot of minis in there.
Yeah. Love it. Lucas is still trying to find a song that he heard that he can't remember the name of.
So actually, this is a road trip thing. I was falling. Andrew is our driver too, and he's awesome at it. So I'm sitting there, I'm falling asleep, and he's got his playlist going. It's like a radio play, so it's like random songs, and I'm catching the end of this song, and I'm like, it's like stuck in my head like the next day. I'm like, Andrew, what is that song? It's like, I don't know. It was just on a random list. I'm like, no. So I've been gone down this rabbit hole. I couldn't find it. So I'm probably
still looking for it.
But it's. I mean, these guys are annoyed by it at this point. I'm like, oh, maybe that's a song. Maybe that's a song.
Yeah, we always are like, wait, was it that one? But it's been going on for months now.
Yeah.
So
That's good stuff.
we love it.
Heck yeah. Where can everybody find Beeble Brox and all other music that you've got coming out? Where can people find you and listen to you?
Lucas.
Oh, Instagram, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, all the streaming services. We distribute through Lander, so they're pushing it out to everything.
Bandcamp.
Yeah.
You can find us on Bandcamp.
Yeah,
You can find us everywhere.
River Monster.
If you go to River Monster Records, their website, their Facebook page, you'll see us there. Information about us and other cool bands on there. Got to give a shout out to that community as well.
Yeah, huge shout out to River Monster. We love you, Larry.
Heck yeah.
He's just awesome. We just played the River Monster Showcase. That's the one that Andrew was talking about down in Columbia, and it was killer. Great place, great bands, and that was a little nerve wracking for us because we didn't know anybody going into that show except for Larry, and these were all bands we hadn't met, and it was awesome. I mean, it was just a great night. I thought that was a great place to play. Great people. So fun. That whole weekend was a blast.
Yeah.
It was just a kick-ass weekend.
Well,
It
guys,
seems like you guys have a great relationship with River Monster Records, so that's awesome that they promote you and you guys promote them. That's pretty awesome.
We love it. We love it.
heck yeah.
Larry's been a good dude to us, and he's just a good guy to everybody he comes in contact with, especially music-wise. He'll support anybody, and we need more Larrys in the world.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Larry. And
Yeah,
I've
thanks,
spoke
Larry.
to him a few times before this interview, so Yeah, great guy, and I plan to have him on the show too to talk about the record company.
Oh, sweet.
Nice.
So,
Heck yeah.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
I can't wait for that. But I want to thank you guys for coming on the show as always.
Oh, Robert.
Thank you
Thank
for having
you.
us.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks for.
And
Thanks
yeah,
for
Andrew,
thanks, Rob. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Robert.
You too, Disease.
so
Yeah.
we're coming up
Yeah.
on our hour and a half, and I don't want to keep you guys all night, but we could definitely chat all the time, or anytime. So that's a wrap on today's episode of BSing with Y-Eagle-Y. Big love to the band 42 for hanging with us and sharing their sound and story. Y'all go check them out. Support their music. From all of us here at BSing with Y-Eagle-Y and Static Shift Radio, happy holidays. Wishing you good music, good laughs, and great times ahead.